Welcome to the Soul Tapes podcast. My name is Adam Cruz.
My name is Antonio Reyes.
And we are excited. We are here today.
Second part, no, third part, podcast of the year?
Yes.
Dang.
I'm like, I don't even.
It's barely January and we already lost count.
I know, seriously. But I'm actually pretty impressed. We've done 20 episodes since we started.
Yeah.
I mean,
every single week we have been doing this. And for the people that think it's easy, they don't understand the level of work that this requires.
Yeah, man. Seriously, I think when we started this, that was kind of something that I was really hopeful to kind of see, that we would stay consistent, stay committed, and and we've done that, and I think it's an accomplishment. I'm proud of what we've done so far. But
of course.
Let's get into today's topic, today's conversation. The beginning of the year is always, I think, for most of the time, most people, I would say, exciting, right?
Of course.
I personally enjoy kind of the new year and kind of starting that whole concept of fresh start. But one topic that kind of came to mind as this year has kind of started out, maybe not as great as I would hope, is this idea of, what do you do when things don't go your way?
Yeah.
How do you respond to life? How do you respond? How do you carry yourself? How do you keep a positive attitude? How can you continue moving forward when life just seems to happen? I've had a couple moments this year already in the beginning of this few weeks, 3 weeks already, where it's like, man, things just don't seem to be going our way. I've been praying that same prayer, like, God, I'm ready whenever you're ready. Waiting for God moments to happen. But man, I feel like we're in that. I personally feel like I'm in a season of just prayerfully waiting. I know that God is maybe there's something inside of me that I need to work on or whatever. But I'm in that place right now, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think all of us, I feel like everybody is in this huge waiting room, we're just waiting for this to end. Yeah. And then we actually do something about whatever our dreams, our goals, all the things that we want to achieve. I feel the same way. I think it's a challenging topic. The reason why I feel it's a challenging topic is because I feel that we don't know how to lose sometimes. For lack of better words, we don't know how to navigate life with life doesn't go our way.
Yeah.
Because
totally.
I feel like in the United States, I'm so sorry, people. They're watching.
Okay, I can edit it out.
I think in the United States, we are, as we grew up as kids, everything is target to us. Everything is for us. If things we're not good at something, they try to modify things so it can work for you, right? So,
or if you're not good at one sport, you go to another sport,
right? And if you're not good at sports, you're good at arts.
Exactly.
If you're not good at arts, you go to something else, right? So there's always a place where you can fit in that can go your way. The problem is that life doesn't work that way, and we actually seen that over and over and over in different levels of our lives. When we start new projects, maybe in a political way, maybe in different levels, So I think that the issue that we have right now in our generation is that we don't know how to navigate when things don't go our way. And we actually we don't know what to do, what steps to take. And many times we end up blaming other people for that.
I think it emotionally, I think, is where we get really we struggle. And I know for myself, I mean, in this podcast, we talk a lot about like our spiritual life and things like that. And I think spiritually, that's where I always I always find myself kind of going back to that place because I know when emotionally I'm struggling, I feel a need to kind of connect spiritually to God and kind of ask those questions that I feel like we're not getting answers on. But emotionally, it can really take a toll on you when you're in that season and space of things not going your way, especially when every single day, the world we live in, I mean, you know, the reality is we live today where technology and, you know, where honestly, we are really living in the future. I mean, think about the access we have to information, the way that we even the way that to the simplest thing of traveling to a new place, you know, as long as I have my phone and a GPS, I can go anywhere, you know, things like that we take for granted, but don't realize how amazing that is. So when we're in a season or feeling like we're constantly getting, you know, the door slammed on you, or, you know, constantly getting no's when you're looking for yeses and stuff like that, you know, it can really put you in a position of, man, what is going on, having that kind of moment. And I feel like that's kind of like where I've been at, you know, these past couple of weeks. But, you know, for me, I always try to look internally and think like, okay, at least for me, I'm always like, I have to learn something from this, right? Like there must be something that I can take from this, this period, like you said, this kind of waiting season. So I'm in the place where I don't know what what that is, but I think I know I could be honest about my life. I know there's always things that I could work on. You know, I know I'm not perfect. I know I need things to be better with my character or whatever that is. So sometimes I look at these seasons as a challenge that I'm trying to find out what is God trying to point out in me.
I agree completely with you. You know, I think many of us, we feel the same way. There's a lot of things in pause because of what we're going through. There was and I think I have shared this several times, you know, when it comes into Gavi and I launching our church almost 3 years ago. 3 years ago. And I remember a lot of the equipment that we got, like we got an equipment and we got a lot of resources because of someone else. They had a church years before, and it was almost $35,000, $30,000 in equipment.
Wow.
That was given to us. It was not even like they sold it to us. They just give it to us. $30,000 in equipment. And I remember, I know that maybe for some of you guys that follow us, maybe you guys don't believe in God, or maybe you guys don't feel like this is something that you relate with. But in a personal experience, you know, we take this very, I don't want to serious, but we do, you know, we try to keep ourselves aware, you know, what God trying to tell us in different seasons of our lives. But I remember being one day in one of the services, one of our gatherings, and seeing everything around me, you know, all that equipment display, everything in that room, you know, and I hear this voice saying like, I don't waste anything, you know? That equipment perhaps years before belonged to someone else, and they bought it, they purchased it, and they acquired that equipment. And perhaps when they finished that season, I don't know what they felt. But that same investment that they had, it was not wasted because we actually took advantage and used that same equipment, right? So I think one of the things that we have to understand in seasons like this is that nothing is wasted in our lives. I think we have to be aware that nothing in our lives is an extra thing, like, oh, never mind. It's just, I was not aware of that, you know? God is very intentional in every. Now, the problem is that, are we paying attention? And are we aware of the things around us? Are we learning something from it? Are we paying attention to what's going on around us? Are we embracing this season when we're not doing much? Are we learning anything? You know, are we investing our energy, our resources, our time in something?
Yeah. I think God doesn't waste our pain, right? But the thing is, when we think about that statement, it sounds great.
Yeah. Sounds
right?
something tweetable.
Yeah, it's a great tweet, right? You get a lot of likes and whatever. But the challenge is, the challenge is that, like, when you're going through a painful season, the requirement is that we have to muster up the strength to get up and move and do something and fight, right? And I think a lot of times people find themselves in places where they're not able or feel like they're unable to continue fighting to find that strength, right? I would suggest that that's where I believe God kind of enters the picture, right? Especially where I think a lot of people come to a place where they find God is because they find themselves in a place of life where they, are feeling that pain, feeling that struggle, and they feel and acknowledge that they don't have the strength to pick themselves up, to carry themselves another day. And the only person they can call on is God. I think it's, I don't want to be insensitive, but I feel like sometimes when people call on the universe, they use that term in place of God, and I don't fully understand that because
we don't want to go that route.
I know. Sorry.
No, no. This is the reason why I don't. Because the problem, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And my problem is that we're gonna go there, Star. The universe doesn't have a personhood.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was
doesn't have a personhood.
Yeah.
Like, and the other part of the reason why I feel like we're so comfortable calling into the universe is because it doesn't have a moral standard.
Yeah. It doesn't ask for you to elevate your character.
Exactly. Yeah. We just want to live life the way we want to. Yeah. That's what we call the universe.
Yeah.
But the universe doesn't love you for the heck of it. Like, it's not just...
Yeah. A meteor could hit the earth for all the universe cares. Like,
right. But you and I know that if we feel the universe is for us, is because it was designed that way by a creator that designed something around us that is for us.
Yes.
It's not randomly that the universe is for us. That's my thing.
So since we're talking about, life not going your way, connecting to the universe, what about aliens? I'm just kidding.
All right, we go that route. Okay.
I'm totally kidding. Just curveball.
Yeah, no, like, let me just throw this
down. Since it totally fits. Yeah, no, I totally agree, man. I totally agree.
I'm sorry. I feel like I made you lose your thoughts.
Oh, yeah, no way. I just had to throw that one in there. I was like, nah. No, but seriously, that's exactly, I'm on the same path when it comes to that. And if for those that call, on anything else other than God, it's reliant. You find yourself in that place where, and I think that the reality is that way of living works for some people.
Yep.
Some people have that strength where they're resilient. They'll find it within themselves. Which is great. But I think, this is why I started this conversation with talking about spiritual life, because at the end of the day, to me, in a physical world, there are plenty of human beings out there that have, great strength and resilience. But I think that when we understand, just to put it this way, I was at a funeral recently with a close friend of mine, and a family member passed away. And, just looking at a body without a soul, to me, only points back to, like, there's a difference. There's something within us that's real. There's something within us that's not man-made. That's not just simply a baby coming from a body. So to me, that just, when I think about, okay, if God created us, and for us believing that God wants more than just for us to live life working and doing whatever we want, I believe that in these seasons, we have the ability to call upon him for help. I would say, like, if God, he said, if there's a God that loves us, he is for us, and would be accessible to us. And I think that, to me, is where there's power. And we tend to kind of lose sight of that, I think, as humans, is when we live our life kind of just on that one track.
I like what you were talking about. I'm gonna try to connect this to what we're talking about. Like you were talking about how some people have the resilience and the strength to navigate their lives, maybe perhaps without faith.
Yeah.
And this is what I feel like. I disagree with some people. Literally last year, I went to Mexico. My friends, they're maybe atheists, maybe more like on the side of like, they just don't believe in God.
Yeah.
Agnostics, angry agnostics, pretty angry, some of them.
Man. That's tough.
So one of the last day that I was there, perhaps one of my best friends, in a certain season of my life, he asked me. He was very angry about me actually coming to faith and like discovering my faith. And I haven't really had the opportunity to really sit down and talk to him, because it's always like very, it's hard.
Yeah.
Anyways, he asked me a question. He was like, he was a little drunk. He was a little drunk, but he asked me the question. He was like, tell me, why is it you pursue God?
Yeah.
Why is it you want that God? Like, he's like, I have gone through a lot of tough moments in my life, and I don't need him.
Yeah.
I don't need to pursue him, and I don't need to rely on God.
Yeah.
So why is it you have the need to go for God?
Yeah.
And in that moment, I didn't want to answer the question, because I felt it was not the right place.
It was like a setup.
Yeah. And it was him, and it was other friends around me,
yeah.
And I was like, I don't think this is the healthy conversation.
Yeah.
But my response now will be, like, in that moment, I didn't thought through it, but now, like, I think through it, and I'm like, see, the problem is that you making that statement is that you assume that you know God. Yeah. You're assuming that you know what this faith is for, and this faith is not just for us to rely when we need help, but it's also a framework of how we see life through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to the things, like, what do we do when things don't go our way? The reason you and we actually push very hard in our faith is because it gives us a framework of life, a filter of life that is not just about like being positive, but it's like there's endless possibilities in our life.
Yeah.
There's endless possibilities. What is it? We don't know. That's the problem. That's what the things that we're struggling with. But the reality is that it's not just about it's a net what we fall when we don't know where to go, but it's also a framework that is setting us up for a better life that we perhaps never seen. You know?
Yeah, and I think it taking it a step further, it also pulls out a version of us that we never thought we could even existed. So, a lot of times people don't live up to their full potential. So even like your friends, like, they might be happy living a certain type of life and lifestyle. But I think when you come into contact with a loving God, the thing that I find, awesome about faith and everything is that a lot of times we kind of live life thinking, like making decisions based on what we think.
Yep.
But if God created us and truly knows us, and we're listening to this, to God and wisdom, he's pulling us into this place of desiring character and traits to come out of us, that may be even further than we've even put for ourselves. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times I find myself saying, man, sometimes I live and make decisions and realize, man, this isn't my full potential. I'm selling myself short. I'm better than this. And it's not just because I'm better, but it's that God desires me to be better. And the reality is that many people live with standards for themselves that are much lower than God's are, because that is the simple life, easy life to live. But the thing is, when you're challenged to for more and challenged to go for more, I think that's why I think as believers, our desire is to impact people in a different and unique way, because, you know, if we can find the strength from God within ourselves to, you know, go to a deeper and better place, we see that potential in other people. And oftentimes that's where I think people don't see that potential in other people, because they don't even see it within themselves.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that many times we obviously sell ourselves short of the things that we can achieve.
Yeah.
And that could be because we have a framework of like a very different framework, you know, of the things that we can achieve. But definitely, you know, God wants to affect our character, our values. He wants to elevate the way we see life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Because God is never going to call us to live a life just for ourselves. He's always going to call us to live a life for others, you know? And I think that's when we say that we sell our life for something lower, I feel like we always sell ourselves for ambition, you know, for our own selves.
Yeah.
It's not that it's wrong that we want to live it and a healthy life, a comfortable life, but when that becomes the goal, you know, like I don't want to say the problem with God, but the uncomfortable piece with like interacting with God is that you're never gonna be comfortable. Yeah. Like he's never gonna allow. It's not that he's never gonna allow you to be comfortable, but he's always gonna call you to a higher place at any level. Yeah, at any level of your life. Well,
I think too the thing is that even for people that have found themselves materialistically successful but have a strong faith in God, I think that the reality is that we see that and think, oh, that God's desire is that they can go a little bit deeper, but also that it's a consistent faith. Yeah. Because I think the reality is that we find ourselves in seasons and moments where we fall short. Yeah. No one is ever a perfect 100% of the time. Constantly relying, you know, oh yeah, like, you know, you're a believer, so you're good. You got it figured out. You know, to me, I think that's a very common misconception about people who have faith, is that, oh yeah, my Christian friend is good because he goes to church. It's like, no, like that's not how it works.
Actually, sometimes it feels like quite the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if you are in those shoes, like it feels quite the opposite. We like, there's a lot of things that we feel we haven't figured out. Yeah. And I mean, just going back to the potential piece of it, you know, I want to connect this to what we're talking about, you know, like to this, what do we do when we don't know, like when things don't go our way?
Yeah.
I think I have shared this before, and you and I can sit with this. Like, the reality is that you can work in your inner world, right? Which means your character, your values. You can never go wrong. Yeah. When you actually decide to invest, to nurture, to cultivate in your inside world, because we're so used to shape our abilities, our attributes outside. Yeah. But we don't invest in our time to actually deal with the inside world that is inside of us. You know, the pain, the hurt, the you know, the wounds that we have, but also what God is trying to bring, like, to nurture inside of us, the fruit we call the fruit of the spirit, right? Peace, joy, you know, self-control, kindness, confidence. Yes. So all those things, to us, it sounds like a very hippie thing to think about many times. Like, oh, that sounds cute. But the reality is that that's the thing that sustains us in seasons like this. You know, and we actually think about, like, can we invest our lives and nurture this aspect of us? You know, like, that's, to me, sustainable for 2, 3, 4 decades.
Yeah, that's really good, man. I think to kind of go back to and give some practical things that I was thinking about when it comes to being in that season of things not going your way. The main thing that comes to mind is gratitude. I mean, I think like you're saying, like materialistic things aren't gonna solve the hole in our heart, right? Buying a new pair of shoes or clothes or whatever, all that stuff is feels great for a moment, but it doesn't bring you back to a place of peace. And I know for me, I mean, we've talked about this in other episodes, like we're peacemakers, and I know my desire in life is love and peace and just wanting to be in those moments for as long as I can. But I think gratitude is something that when you stop and, for me, I've had to do that, is just be thankful for what I already have, what God has already given me, health, a roof over our head, friends, relationships that mean a lot, to be able to have relationships with family, all those types of things really. Even though we're desiring for more and pursuing certain things in life, getting to an age where we're just, looking to elevate in certain areas, feeling like God is putting us in this waiting season, gratitude seems to be the place where I turn to and say, man, I'm so thankful for what I already have. And I think that's a, one thing I when I read the Bible, and I kind of, what I gain from it is God desiring us to be in a posture of humility, and to not just be in this place of always wanting more stuff or more position or more status or more followers or whatever it is that, we might find ourselves desiring. I think I always see this narrative or this concept of humility, of laying down our pride, of saying, hey, stop thinking so highly of yourself. And I think when we're able to put ourselves in that position, we're able to see a clearer picture of God.
That reminds me too. I was listening to someone talk about Disney. He went to a clinic where he was focus was neuroscience, right?
Yeah, neuroscience. Like the brain.
Yes. So they had a saying that, they were talking about how gratitude was the what is it called? I just literally chose up. It's the lubricant of the brain.
Oh, the lubricant of the brain.
Yes. Gratitude is the lubricant of the brain, what keeps your brain flexible in life. So when you live in life and you live in gratitude, it keeps it flexible to whatever comes your way.
Wow.
And to me, that was like a game changer, because I was like, it's very hard for us to be grateful in seasons where we don't feel like there's nothing to be grateful for.
Yeah.
But if we push hard enough, we can find things.
Yeah.
To be grateful for, which positions our heart and our brains to be flexible for whatever comes our way. You know?
That's really good, man. Yeah, you heard it here first on the Soul Tapes podcast. We're not just people of faith and wisdom. It's we got some science going as well.
Let's go.
Dude, that's so dope. Yeah, and I think that for those that struggle, like you made that comment, because I know people, find themselves in those moments of, I have nothing to be grateful for.
Yep.
I think that's why it's so important to do life with people, or to even if even if you don't have friends, or be, in good standing with family.
Yeah.
If you're someone who is willing to serve other people, to go out into the community and do things like that, you will find yourself interacting with people who are in positions that you will be happy that you are not in their position in life. And if that doesn't bring gratitude to you, I don't know what will. But I think, and again, it's not like to put anybody down. It's just that the reality is that when we look at other people's circumstances, we'll see that God has covered us in certain aspects. So that's just, I think, really important for us to find gratitude.
And just piggyback of that, like, I feel like gratefulness is a point of reference of the things that we need to do in this season.
Yeah.
Which is serving others.
Yeah.
You were saying that, right? How do we serve others, Text someone else, call them, affirm them.
Yeah.
Like, think about the things that you're grateful for your friend or your, someone that works with you. Can you serve someone else with words of affirmation? That actually takes the focus out of you and focuses in someone else. So you serving people. So I think in season like this, there's still opportunities to serve others, how would that look like? Obviously we have to be very intentional, but I think the point of reference, I think, is gratitude.
I think to kind of give a practical thing about like responding to moments where you can serve others. A lot of times I have moments, and we've kind of talked about this before, where, you have that gut instinct, and I would say it's like the Spirit of God kind of pushing us, because the reality is that we listen to that gut instinct when someone someone pisses us off, when we get angry or mad in a situation, we can listen to that gut instinct that says, oh, I'm not going to let them do that. I'm going to respond. I'm going to say something. I'm going to react. But a lot of times we have gut instincts where we want to compliment someone or say something nice to someone. I just had it last night where, I was in a Zoom class for my MBA program. There's a student that I got to interact with, and I was happy to have him in my class again. And I had that gut instinct where I wanted just to kind of let him say hi, whatever. And I didn't do it, and I'm just thinking about it now. I'm like, man, you know what? Like, you're right. Like, that would have been cool if he would have acknowledged me or said, hey, as a friend or as a, fellow, peer, just to, when we get acknowledged by someone, that means something to us. It impacts us in a good way. And I think sometimes we need to listen to that gut instinct and react more in those moments where we say, hey, how can it's not that we're trying to make someone's day, but we just don't even realize how much those things affect people, where it's like, man, can we just give love? Can we just share and say, hey, you know what? I'm just happy to see you,
Now that you're triggered this whole life thing. There's a book called by John Maxwell called How to Make Other People Feel Like $1 Million or something like that. And he did a book with a psychologist which talks about how do you make other people feel great, and it's crazy because now before I used to do this a lot. I would go to the store and I would always try to affirm someone in the store, and you don't know how weird that is for some people. It's not normal in our society to affirm someone. It's not normal to tell someone, hey, I love your shoes, or I love your t-shirt, you know?
Thanks, Firstborn Shop.
Let's go.
xcruise.com.
I'm gonna support. So I think those things are valuable right now. To make people feel like they're oh, like you're saying, we're acknowledging them. We make them feel good. We make them feel that they're seen, that somebody cares, that somebody's watching them, It's not average now. It's something that is very random for people. And even, some people don't even know how to react to that. They're like, huh? Some people even react in a negative way. But some people really react.
Are you joking with me right now?
Yeah, of course. What are you talking about? I don't even know.
I don't know you.
Yeah. But I think going back to being grateful. I think I've been grateful, and if we practice that, it's always gonna take us to serve other people, affirm other people. Go to the store, affirm someone, text one of your friends, text someone from your family, call someone when you even feel down and depressed. That helps you take the focus from you, and it helps you feel that you're actually doing something.
If you're listening to this podcast right now, and you find yourself in a season of not knowing what to do when life doesn't go your way, exactly what Antonio just finished saying is right on. If you can focus your attention on loving others, I think that's why that concept that God asks of us, or what it means to be a Christian, is to love people well. You don't realize how much that brings gratitude to your life, how much that brings just a new perspective on the fact that even when things don't go your way, you can still find hope and strength to fight another day.
This is my last thought, I promise. You know how at the beginning of the conversation we talk about how we don't know how to lose?
Yeah.
We need to learn how to lose with honor, you know?
Yeah.
We need to learn how to lose with honor and saying, man, things didn't go my way.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's okay. You know? We're not the type of people that we want to be controversial.
Yeah.
But I think this is worth saying. You know, I was sharing with you one of the things that I was listening the past couple of weeks, you know, is that we have a nation in the United States that we don't know how to lose.
Yeah.
In 2016, when Trump won the election, there was this movement that stood up and said he was not my president.
Yeah.
2020 now.
2021.
2021. You have a movement of people that said they stole the election.
Yeah.
So we don't know how to lose.
Yeah.
We don't know what to do when things don't go our way and the way we want to.
Yeah.
We always look for excuses of why things didn't go our way. And we have to learn how to lose with honor and win humbly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that we have a whole generation that we were never taught how to actually lose with honor.
Yeah.
And said things didn't go my way.
Yeah.
You know? So I think we have to learn how to acknowledge, man, it just didn't go my way.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that the doors are closed for me. That doesn't mean that I don't have opportunities in the future. That doesn't mean that this is the end.
Yeah.
It just means it just didn't work this time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, oh man. We're just gonna keep
just
going.
Kill it, bro.
It.
Kill
Yeah.
it.
This is, to me, like that whole scenario of the, you know, Trump deciding, you know, hey, we're gonna fight because we didn't get the answer that we wanted. To me, is like the epitome of someone who's lived a privileged life.
Narcissism.
Yeah. Because to me, it's like when you can put yourself in a position where you have lost something, and now you're at a position where you're saying, no, we haven't lost, and in fact, we're gonna continue to fight.
Yeah.
To the point of completely disgracing your nation, completely disgracing what it means to be an American, to live in freedom.
Yep.
You know, the reality is that no one is bulletproof. So we see the ramifications of that now. And so, you know, to me, it just points back to why humility is so important. Why even those people who have lived a very privileged life, to me, those are the people that I really, truly respect are those that have found wealth, status, power, these things in this world and still have humility, can see that they have faith in a God that is above them, because that's the problem to me, is that people like in politics or whatever, that operate that way, believe that they are in a form a God. And the reality is, to me, eventually, like I said, no one is bulletproof. Doesn't matter, you know, what life has looked like, how you found status or notoriety or all these things, fame. Eventually you put yourself in a position where you have zero character. You're gonna fall.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, we don't know. I don't know if we're gonna get bashed by this, but I mean, the reality is, you know, him even making the statement of like, I'm not gonna show up to the inauguration.
Yeah.
It shows how poor of a character you have.
Yeah.
You know, it shows how you don't know how to be a leader.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That you don't know how to elevate a nation that says, you know, like, I lost.
Yeah, and this is why I think our podcast is so important, because I think there is there needs to be a movement of people that are willing to elevate the standards of how you live your life.
Yep.
To live it in a way that is to love and serve others and not just about yourself, because it's sad to see a movement of people that resonate with his message.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Exactly.
That throw tantrums as adults that are grown children, basically, because they didn't get their way. And they're angry, and so what do kids do when they're angry, don't get their way? They throw a fit.
Yep.
And to me, it baffles me when I see that in adults.
Yep. And it's not just to bash that. I mean, that's exactly what's happening particularly right now, right?
Yeah.
But it's not just to bash maybe the right or the Republican Party. We like I say, like in 2016, the opposite side was acting the same way. So it's not that we're taking sides.
Yeah.
It's just the reality was going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have to just learn how to navigate those moments. To me, and this season right now is like, man, this is what happened. Let's move forward. Yeah. Let's keep moving forward.
Yeah.
I want to be able to learn how to say, I lost, or
there's like a thing like sportsman like conduct, right?
Yes,
like what does it mean to lose with respect?
Yeah,
right?
even when we play soccer, or even for the teams that I go for. Before I was a person that always find excuses why we lost.
Yeah.
But now I have no problem because I try to put my ego to the side and say, man, they were better than us.
Yeah.
They had a better team. They have better players. They have a better strategy. And I'm okay with saying that.
Yeah.
My ego doesn't get in my way. My ego doesn't get in my way. But,
yeah, well, I think that's what's great about this topic is that what happens when things don't go our way, the reality is that is life. Like, that's what to me is funny about this season for myself is that God and whoever said that life was supposed to go your way every single 100% of the time. But we get so wrapped up in living life where everything just has to go our way. So when it doesn't, we get thrown off and we get frustrated and we get angry. And it's like, hey, that's life. Sometimes you're going to lose. Sometimes that team may be better than you. Sometimes you're not going to get the job because someone else is probably more equipped for that job. And that's okay. That doesn't make you less than. It just means you need to get up and try again and fight harder and keep moving.
Yes. That's all I have to say.
He's like, I don't want to add more because
no. Yeah, we're gonna go in, but that's my heart. We just need to learn how to lose.
Yeah.
And how you say life works that way.
Yep. That's right. So, if you hated this podcast, please let us know.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. Oh, man. No,
we love your family.
Yeah, we love every single person that, has listened. And if you've listened up until this point, we'd love to hear some feedback and love to hear your comments and your thoughts.
Follow us on social media. Say, DM us. Let us know what conversations you want to hear from us.
Yeah.
We're here.
Exactly. Yes. This is the Soul Tapes podcast. We'll see you guys next time.
We out.